So memory management strategies means, so in this memory management strategies, there are three parts in this unit. The first part is memory management, how to main memory will work, swapping and contiguous memory allocation, paging, segmentation. So this is the first part, and second part virtual memory, and third part is nothing but disk scheduling. So the first part is nothing but we will consider what are the memory management strategies. So here, before discussing this topic, what is the purpose of first main memory management strategies? Why we'll use these memory management strategies? So actually in previous classes we discussed CPU scheduling. Yes, CPU scheduling algorithms. So CPU scheduling means how the CPU can shared by a set of processes. How the CPU can share by a set of processes we will discuss in CPU scheduling. So what it will be perform CPD scheduling? We can improve process utilization of the CPU. We can improve the utilization of the CPU and the speed of the computers. So we will improve the utilization of the CPU and speed of the computers. That is the purpose of CPU scheduling. So however, we have to improve the system performance also. So here the process is executing must ensure that it will be executing in the memory. So that we have to keep several processes in memory. We have to keep several processes in memory. So here must ensure the memory will be shared all the processes. So for that purpose we will use memory management strategies. Okay, mainly the selection of memory management method. The selection of memory management method for a specific system. We have to select one memory management from a system. It depends on one main factor, that is hardware design. That is hardware design. The selection of memory management method for a specific system, it depends on mainly the hardware design, the hardware design for that particular system. So here the first concept in this unit, basic hardware. The first concept in this unit, basic hardware. Why we will use the basic hardware means, already I told you, selection of memory management method for a specific system depends on mainly the hardware design. So the envelope, the first concept is basic hardware. So in this basic hardware, so we will discuss what is the main memory and registers. And so main memory and the registers are built into the processor itself. Main memory and the registers are built into the processor itself, are the only storage that CPU can access directly. So main memory and registers are built in the processors itself, are the only storage the CPU can access that directly. Here mainly the registers are built into the CPU. Already you know what is a register and what is the base register and what is the limit register and what are the indirect registers also. So what is register? What is register? Can anyone respond what is register? Hello? What is register? Hello? Can anyone respond what is register?
Group of flip-flops, ma'am.
Group of flip-flops. Flip-flop is nothing but it is used to store one bit of information, right? Take them. So register is nothing but group of flip-flops. So flip-flop is used to store the bit of information either 0 or 1s, right? So here registers that are built into the CPU are generally accessible within one cycle. So already you learned what is the cycle, that is write cycle and read cycle in DLD subject. So registers that are built into the CPU. So where the registers are built means in the CPU. So here base register and limit register. So base register and limit registers. So what is the base register means? It holds the smallest physical memory address. Base register means it holds the smallest physical memory address, that is base register. Limit register, what limit register says? It specifies the size of the range of the process. It specifies the size of the range for a process. So that is the base register and limit registers. Is it clear? Base register is nothing but it holds the smallest physical memory address. It holds the smallest physical memory address. What is limit register? It specifies the size of the range. And for a particular process. So what is the size it will be executing into the memory? So base register and limit register can be loaded only by the operating system. Base register and limit register can be loaded only by the operating system, which uses some specialized privileged instructions. So what is privileged instruction? What is privileged instruction? I already told you. Privileged instruction can be executed only in the kernel mode, not
Kernel
in
mode.
the user mode. So privileged instructions can be executed only in the kernel mode only. So see this block diagram. Block diagram is visible. There is a base register and a limit register. How it will be work? కనిపిస్తుందా అండి diagram? So ikkada the base register will hold some data. The base register will hold some value, that is 300040, and limit register value is 120900. That means limit is nothing but, what is limit register? Nothing but a range, that is size of the range of a for a process. So the base register holds 300040 and limit register is hold 120900. The program can be executed where it will start the execution, that is the base register address, it is nothing but here 300040. So the process will execute, what is the value? 420940. So why this much value only means the base register plus limit register. So how the process will be, until how it will be completed means the base register plus limit register. So add 30040 plus 120900, that is the value is 420940. So the process will execute in this range only. So that is the base register and limit register. Base register means we have to specify one address where the process will be starts to be executed. That is nothing but small, it holds the smallest physical memory address. Whereas limit means the range of a process, the size of a process. Is it clear what is the base register and limit register? Base and limit registers now it's only loaded only by the operating system only, which uses some specialized privileged instructions. The privileged instructions are executed only in kernel mode only. That is the base and limit register. And the next one is address binding. So what is address binding? What is address binding? So address binding is nothing but, so why we will use the address binding? So a program resides, that is a program stores on a disk as a binary executable file. అంతే కదండి, ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ మనం డిస్క్ లో ఎలా స్టోర్ చేస్తాం? ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ ద higher language or binary language. A program is stored in a disk which is storable in either binary language or high level language. Binary language. So a program is stored in the memory or a disk, it will be in the binary executable file. So what is a normal procedure? We have to select one process among more number of process, means the processors are in the input queue and load that the particular process into the memory. And there are so many processes are there. So based on some priority, we will store into that particular process in the memory. So here, the binding of instructions and data, the binding of instructions and data to memory address, so can be done at 3 different stages. So here binding of instructions and data to memory can be happen in 3 different stages. One is compile time, one is load time, another one is execution time. One is compile time, load time, and execution time. So first, what is the compile time? So compile time is nothing but where the process will reside in memory. Where the process will reside in memory. So if you want to execute some program, automatically it will know the memory location of that particular process. That is where the process will reside in memory. So compile time అనేది ఏం చేస్తుంది? It produces the absolute code. The compile time generates the absolute code. So the compile time generates the absolute code. What is meant by absolute code? A programmer may enter an exact memory address for data storage. That is nothing but absolute code. Absolute code is nothing but a programmer may enter an exact memory address for data storage. So we have to access instead of indirect address register. Already you know what is the indirect address registers. So instead of that, absolute code means a programmer may enter an exact memory address for data storage. That is nothing but absolute code. So compile time is nothing but, so we have to execute one process in the memory, must ensure it will be stored into the memory. Why? We have to produce a compile time may produce the absolute code. So absolute code means programmer may enter an exact address space for data and storage, for data storage. The next one is load time. So what is load time is nothing but it generates the relocatable code. So load time is nothing but it generates the relocatable code. What is relocatable code? Whose execution address can be changed. Whose execution address can be changed. That is nothing but relocatable code. So load time is it must and should generate the relocatable code if memory location is not known at compile time. The memory location is not known at compile time. Load time means it will generate the relocatable code. So whose execution address can be changed. That is nothing but relocatable code. Next one is execution time. Next one is execution time. So execution time is nothing but process can be moved. The process can be moved during its execution from one memory segment to another. So execution time is nothing but a process can be moved during its execution from one memory segment to another. That is nothing but execution time. So this is address binding. So address binding means you have to binding of instructions and data to a memory. There are three different strategies we will performing here. One is compile time, load time, and execution time. Is it a processing of a user program? How the program will be executed? So that is nothing but already we discussed here. So here must ensure what is the first user give a source program. So a user given a source program, automatically what it will perform compile time. So already we discussed in the previous what is address binding means the binding of instruction data to memory address can be done by instructions and data to memory address can be done at three steps, that is compile time, load time, and execution time. So at the compile time what it will be performed, a user can give the source program, so that source program will be compiled or assembled. So if the compiler means it can be converted from high level language to low level language. Like the source program it is assembler means it will be converted based on assembler it will be used. It will give the input as assembler, program as assembly language, and it produces the low level language. So what it will be performed at the load time, so it will be created as a relocatable code at the load time. So it will be performing the linking and loading concept. So linking and loading. So link that particular modules from the other object modules and load that modules, and it will be performing the execution. So that is nothing but in memory it will be executed. So memory will be allocated dynamically. So memory will be allocated dynamically. So that is the a user can perform this way. So source program will give the input and it will be performing at compile time. That is the program will be converted by using either compiler or assembler, and it will be produce some relocatable code by using load time. So load time means it will be performing a linking and loading concept. It will be linked other modules and also performing that system library. If there are any some library values, for example, C language discount hash define. You have to create hash define 5 values some 3.14. So that is the constant value. Automatically it will link that particular library and got that code, and it will be load that into the program and it will be executed. So after the performing the loading concept, what the system will be do? Execution. So execution means a process can be moved during its execution from one memory segment to another. So ఇక్కడ the dynamically it be allocated the system library and as well as main memory, sorry, memory also. That is the how it will be performing. So here in this one, we performing the what is the logical address and physical address. So what is the address space? That is logical and physical address. So what is nothing but physical address and logical address? So an address generated by the CPU, that is nothing but logical address. An address generated by the CPU is nothing but logical address. So it is also visible to the user also. Whereas physical address. So what is physical address? A physical address, it refers to a location in the memory unit. So physical address where it will be seen in the memory unit. Whereas logical address means it generated by the CPU. That is the difference between a physical address and logical address. So a physical address and logical address are the same in the compile time and load time. The physical address and logical address are the same, and both addresses are same where it is in the compile time and the load time. So that is the differences between a logical versus physical address space. So an address generated by the CPU is referred as logical address, whereas physical address means it is to locate in the memory unit. The physical address is located in the memory unit. That is nothing but a physical address. So here the runtime mapping. So the process is runtime. The runtime mapping from the virtual to physical address. The runtime mapping from the virtual to physical address is done by hardware device. So the runtime mapping from the virtual to physical address is done by hardware device that is called as memory management unit. That is called as memory management unit. So what is virtual address? What is virtual address? A virtual address is nothing but this points to a location in primary storage. It points to a location in its primary storage that a process can use independently of other process. That is nothing but virtual address. So in virtual memory we elaborate in detail. So virtual address is nothing but a virtual address points to a location in the primary storage that a process can use independently of other process. That is nothing but virtual address. So see here, I already told you what is the memory management unit. The runtime mapping from the virtual to physical address is done by one hardware device that called as memory management unit. So that is hardware device that maps to virtual to physical address, that is called as memory management unit. So here the user program deals with logical addresses only. Why? Because there is a visible to the user, that is logical address space, but it will not see the physical address. That is the one of the difference between logical address and physical address. So the physical address we cannot see, whereas logical address means we can deal with the logical address. Why? Because logical address is generated by the CPU, whereas physical address means it is in the part of in the memory unit. That is the memory management unit. So memory management unit is nothing but the runtime mapping from the virtual to physical address is done by a hardware device called the memory management unit. So is it clear? What is the memory management unit? So these are the basic things we have to performing a basic hardware. What the memory will be do. These are the introduction part. What is the basic hardware functionalities we'll do into the memory. Is it clear? What is the memory management unit? What is the virtual address and what is the physical address and what is the logical address? Respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Then dynamic relocation using a relocation register. So what is the dynamic loading? So we have to store entire program and all data of a process to be in physical memory. To be in physical memory for the process to execute. So, dynamic loading means it has been necessary for the entire programming and all data of a process to be in physical memory. Why we have to use the physical memory? The program will or one process will be executed in main physical memory, that is main memory also, for the process to execute. So we have to store that particular data in the physical memory for executing that process. That is nothing but dynamic loading. That is nothing but dynamic loading. See here in this diagram. So here the CPU is there. CPU already I told you. CPU is generated the logical address. So here it will be generated some logical address, that is 346. And here we will use one relocation register. Here MMU is there, that is memory management unit. Already I told you the mapping will be virtual to physical address is nothing but memory management unit. So the value in the relocatable register is added to every address. Every address. So the value in the relocatable register is added to every address generated by a user process. So here, what is the relocation register value here? 14000. That means 14,000. So here, this value can be loaded into the memory. So what is the value total? CPU generated is 346. And relocatable, that is memory management unit, is there nothing but 14,000. Add these two values and the physical address is stored into the memory. So the what is the physical address here? 14,346. That address will be stored into the memory. Is it clear? That is the dynamic loading. So dynamic loading is nothing but here we have to use some um, one process will be executed means that particular information must ensure that address must ensure stored into the physical memory. How it will be dynamically allocated means the CPU can be generate some logical address. That logical address plus whatever memory management unit relocation register is added to every address generated by a user process at the time is both are adding and it will be sent to the physical address, that is 14,346. That is the dynamic relocation using relocation register. So see here, already I told you dynamic loading. So routine is not loaded until it is called. So there are number of functions are there. When programming means there are number of routines, subroutines. So whenever the routine is called, at that time only the routine will be loaded into the memory. Is it right or not? Whenever the routine, that is subfunction call, at that time only the routine will be loaded into the memory. Is it clear? That is routine is not loaded until it is called. And by using dynamic loading, the better memory space utilization. So at a time the data will not, entire data will be loaded. So whenever the subfunction is called, at that time only that routine is loaded into the execution. After the completion of execution, the memory will be free. And again the next routine until entire function, the entire program will be executed. So see here, better memory utilization, that is space utilization. Unused routines is never loaded. So one program contain number of subroutines. At a time, all subroutines are not stored into the memory. Whenever the particular function will be executed, at that time only it will use the memory. That is nothing but that way we can use the better memory space utilization. Next, useful when large amount of coded are needed to handle infrequently occurring cases. And no special support from the operating system here is required, implemented through program design. That is nothing but dynamic loading. Next, dynamic linking. Dynamic linking. So here we will performing some linking. So linking postponed until execution time. So whenever one process will be executed, they want some information from some other library functions. So at that executing time only it will be linked that particular code or module from that library functions. That is nothing but linking is postponed until its execution time. And small piece of code are stub used to locate appropriate memory resident library routine. So stub replaces itself. Stub ఏం చేస్తుందని it will replaces itself. దేంతో రీప్లేస్ చేస్తుంది with the address of the routine and executes the routine. So stub ఏం చేస్తుంది stub replace itself with the address of the routine and execution of the routine. And operation system need to check if a routine is in process memory address. So once the execution time, it will be linking the operating system to check if the routine is in process memory address or not. So here dynamic linking is particularly useful for libraries only. Already library functions all of you know. In C language you will study what is the library functions, right? Functions is nothing but, for example, you write a code for quadratic equation. So you have to write a code for quadratic equation. Quadratic equation, the square root function is there, right? Is it right or not? If you will use the square root function, automatically you invoke which library function? Math.h. So there is a linking, dynamic linking whenever the program is executing. So until that, the linking is postponed. So whenever the situation will arise, you have to link that particular library function. Then only it performing the dynamic linking. Is it clear when the dynamic linking is used? So if you run some type of code, that function will contain some library functions, that is system library functions. At that time only the dynamic linking will perform. Is it clear what is the dynamic linking? And here a system also known as shared libraries. The system also known as shared libraries. So this is the first topic, that is basic hardware, how the main memory will performing different actions in that. That is nothing but, first we will see what is we discussed here, a dynamic basic hardware, introduction about memory management strategies. And in basic hardware, main memory and registers built in the processor itself are the only storage that CPU can access. Here we discussed what is the base register and what is the limit register. And the next one we discussed address binding, and address binding of instructions and data to memory address can be done in three strategies: compile time, load time, and execution time. And what is the logical and versus physical address, and what is the virtual address, what is the dynamic loading and dynamic linking. So this is coming under the basic hardware. That is the first concept in this memory management strategies. Is it clear? Is there is any doubts?